Bill Jones, the inventor of the Trojan bench. It was first invented in 1986, and then for 16 years no one else knew about it, only me. Then in 2002, a friend of mine saw it for the first time, and he said, "What have you got there?" And I told him and showed him what I'd done, and he said, "Why don't you take a patent out on it?" I said, "Oh." And anyway, he kept at me, and I said, "Well, I'll put it in the Townsville Field Days in May." That's when they... And then I did, and the division I was in, I won first prize in. So that started the ball rolling on the Trojan bench. Well, in all the time, this is the first time there's a video of it. So let's hope it turns out. Righto, well, that's the bench displayed out. It folds out to 2.4 metres, and folded it's less than a metre, which I'll show you later on. But the saw fits on a turntable, and it's got a locking arm underneath, which you loosen. Can you show that? That is so you can turn the saw to get your 45s when you're cutting your angle cuts. You still got to move your vice on your 45 on your saw, which I won't go to the trouble of doing now, but when you do, well, you put your... Well, I will do it. I will. Just put a piece of steel. You can move the saw wherever you like now, and you've got control of it. Put it in the middle of the rollers, and then tighten your locking arm. And tighten it like you would with a spanner. You've got two hands on the lever and tighten it tight. Don't just hold it by the knob. They're your angles. Now, you can cut your steel. You cut your steel to your 45s there, or well, whatever angle you decide to use, but that is 45 there now. Right, well, this is one time that you don't need the kickback stop. You don't need the kickback stop when you cut angles, because as I'll show, when you're cutting an angle, the steel can't bind against the blade to throw it back because of the angle. You can cut it, and then when you want it the other angle, you just turn your steel over and cut the opposite way. Alright, I'll just... To have a good setup, you need 3 adjustable roller stands here, like I make. Now I will show you how the kickback stock works when you're cutting square cutting. I'll return the saw back to approximately centre. I won't tighten it up yet. The newer model saws have got quick and fast release cuts like the angles here. This is this type has sort of gone out of fashion. Now, to make sure I've got my correct angles, I've cut myself a block. That's the square. Once you go against the stone and up against the back jaw of the vise, that's perfectly square. Now that's when I can tighten the bolts now. When you're cutting the 45s, you turn it like that, and like you put that part against so you can get your 45s perfectly too. Right. We'll centralise it again. Centre, I think. Tighten the lock and arm again. Right, we're ready for square cutting now. I'll explain the length cutting gauge later, but we'll just use it now like this. Say I want to cut 20 or 30 lengths, that length. Now if I just cut straight through there, I might be lucky enough nothing happens. But sooner or later, that's going to get off the square and move back, and if there's no room, it's going to jam against the stone, smash me stone, or if it's a small enough piece, it'll flick it back. So to prevent all that, this is a mighty little gadget. This is what I call, for no other better reason, the kickback stop. And that goes on there. It's adjustable to take different heights of saws. Like these saws aren't always the same height or the same size, but these are adjustable. Everything's adjustable to take different brands of saws up to a point. Like there is some saws where you need a bigger turntable and I have to widen the bench. Put that on there like that. Now I can, yes, I have to adjust this one. This is a bracket that fits to the turntable that holds the kickback stop, and that's adjustable, so when you put that in to your back vise, you just slide that up to it and then retighten your nut. Now, 20 or 30 of them, I said, away you go. You just bang, nothing can happen, take them away, feed another one through. And you can not even use that. you just feed him through and hold against him there. He can't go anywhere. Bang. And any length you like. Because the link cutting gauge is equipped with this length of rails so the bench can be folded. If you want to cut longer lengths, well, you need longer rails. But I don't supply them because most of my benches are sent away, and when you send anything away by transport, they want to know how long it is or how high it is, and if I say it's 10 foot high or 10 foot wide, the freight goes up. So I leave it up to the buyer to purchase his own length. It's only 20 by 20, 1.6 mil wall of all gal steel. You can buy it at any steel merchant. And for that length of rail, I think they're 900s. Well, you can cut, what is that, about 5 feet or something like that. But for longer rails, well, as I say, for longer jobs, you need longer rails. And it can be worked either way. Like it can go like I had it, or you can turn it around and fit it on like that. So that you can cut stuff the lengths of where the brackets are. You can slide down between the brackets, so there's nothing there you couldn't cut a length. And when you're cutting, the shortest you can cut is the length of the kickback stop, which is 70 mil. Well, that's not right, because I need to cut smaller things than them in little brackets like this here, and the ends of the pipe, the handles and the plugs in the bottom and the feet, they're all short pieces of steel, but you still got to cut a lot of them. So I designed a tool that you fit onto your length cutting gauge with the aid of a pair of close grip pliers. Now say I want to cut 20 or 30 things that length. Well, I just slide it out to there, tighten the 4 locking nuts, and away I go. See? So there's no problem in cutting any length whatever you want. And the toolbox, which you can see is a very handy thing for storing all your gear. You've got everything on the job. And you put your cutting disc and all in there, and the floor's slatted so that dust will get in. With these cutting wheels, it gets in all right, but it's slatted, what gets in gets out. Now, for the long lengths of steel, like say you're building a set of yards or something like that, well, these little rails are not going to be worth anything to you. So you probably need longer rails than this, but this is all like, I don't need any long rails for making the benches. That's all I do, make benches, so I don't need long rails. But for builders or, you know, they want cut stuff 10 and 12 foot long. Well, you can do it because you just need long rails. when you're cutting your rail, you know, say you want to cut some 8 feet, say. Well, you mark your 8-foot mark on here. You go up to where your 8-foot mark says, and you clamp it, right. That's what you want to cut it, lock it up, slide your gauge. Have I got these tight? Slide your gauge back. And there you go. You can cut them, like I said before, without even having to tighten the vise. Just slide them through, hold against it and bang. And bang. Right. Always, when you're cutting long lengths like that, always have a roller stand here, because you don't want all the weight swinging off of these 2 little brackets. Like that can go down only to there, and that's, if you went out there and didn't have nothing and something dropped them, and this would all be buggered up here. Right, well that's the gauge out of the way. I showed you the angle cuts and the straight cuts. I'll just I don't want to cut things on this bench because the bench is ready to be sold, and I don't want all dust and everything over it. Actually, I've got a fella coming tomorrow to pick it up. I'll just put those little rails back on now. I'll turn it around and give you a look at it the way that is then. That device I showed you here, I don't supply them with a bench, but if they want one, well, I can make you one. But if anyone comes to pick a bench up from the shed, I show it to them and say, you know, that's what you can do. But that's not included in the price. Well, that's about all I can show you on the bench. It's well finished. You can see there's no rough welds or anything. It's smooth. And can you get in there? And if you have like this is using it on a concrete floor, but it can be worked outside on uneven ground or sloping ground. See, when you put your saw on, as I say, no saws are the same height, but what you do is you put a straight edge across your saw and you adjust these 2 rollers, the 2 rollers off the bench. There, you can see here where they're adjustable, and you either go up or down to meet. See, I've adjusted them just nice. They're just running on the bench, and then once you get them right, well, the back ones are adjusted to them.